Here I am. What's up, fam? More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast here on SEC Country. Here in the SEC Country studios in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll still be here until June 30th when they kick us out. I hope they don't actually kick us out. I hope they just allow us to walk out with our dignity. I'm getting kicked out, you think? Getting thrown right off the fourth floor here? Terp's not here today. Nate, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You were very excited to talk to me, weren't you?
Very excited. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Brandon.
Well, I can't say the same, Nate. I can't say the same. But thank you for being here, and thank you for doing what you're going to do for the show. We got a lot of audio clips today.
We do.
Got more clips than normal.
We do.
Yeah, so you don't mess up.
I might.
Okay. More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast here on SEC Country, coming to you on a Wednesday. We're going to talk about Joe Moorhead. Joe Moorhead went on another podcast, the AP Top 25 podcast with Ralph D. Russo. And he talked about Mississippi State football, said some things that I thought were very interesting. And I brought him to this show. I brought Joe Moorhead clips with respect to the AP Top 25 podcast. So I'll have that for you. We'll talk about Joe Moorhead. We'll talk about recruiting. Recruiting looks to be picking up again under this staff. It really looks good right now. Baseball, obviously, big weekend for baseball. We'll talk about that. At the end of the show, a shot of Jack. We'll have our tribute to the best play-by-play announcer in the history of college football. We'll talk about Jack Crystal. We'll have 4 clips from Jack Crystal today on today's show. Now let's see who we got here. Jason Cockrell from Aiken, South Carolina. Joy Dees from Lake Cormorant, Mississippi. James Weaver is here. Wade Glass says, I'm getting my wife's car service. Take your time today. Mike Owens just gives me a thumbs up. Thank you, Mike. Jessica Elm Balsley checking in from West Virginia. Thank you, Jessica. So everybody's here. Everybody's getting here. D. Curtis from Arkansas. Colton Strawbridge from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Karen Morgan DeWeese from Petal, Mississippi. Tracy Davis from Point City. Steve Hill, Hail State from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Steve Hill sounds like he's having a better day than I am. Hail State from the Columbus, Mississippi, says Dwight Wilson. Hail State from Brookhaven, Grady Stokes. Thomas Loftus from Pensacola, Florida. Hail State from Boise. Oh, wow. Jay Robertson's in Boise today. Wow, good for you. Hail State, Tracy Alford McClendon, Tina McLemore, Shannon Davis. Good to have all of you here as we begin to wrap this up on SEC Country. Again, I've told you many times, but Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show is where we're going to continue this. I'm going into business for myself. If somebody's going to make money off my talents, it's going to be me, right? Yes? And when I say talent, it's a very loose definition of the word. But somebody, yeah, okay. 2 games on their home field still feels great. Hail State, let's ride this banana boat to Omaha, says Daniel Browning. Martin Smith says, is Henderson going to be the next coach if he keeps winning? I love each and every one of you. I do. You're like my family. I can't take another Gary Henderson question, okay? I'm not John Cohen. I don't know. I don't think there's a way Gary Henderson keeps this job. I just don't. I really think that. I really.
You handled that problem expertly, like it's happened to you before.
Okay. All right. Nate, I have 4 kids. That has never happened. Okay, Martin Smith, you got me. You got me pretty good. If that happens again, I don't know if I'll be able to compose myself. Hello, Mark McRaney. Hello, James Weaver. Tim Cockrell says banana power. Troy Harper just laughs hysterically. Luckily, that was not on the podcast. That's just on the Facebook Live. So this is why you watch the videos, because you get to see stuff like that happens, and they'll never know about it on the podcast. I'd put more stock in this season being due to the boys rather than Gary, says Blake Moore. Danny E. Pinter says they have pills for that. Matt Weisinger says just do a whole show of technical difficulties. We've done that before. We have done that before. Hail State from Seattle. Look, we got Seattle, Nate.
I love it.
You're over there wearing your Sonics jersey?
It's a jersey.
It's a jersey, yeah.
It was a free jersey from the stadium.
Nate's from Seattle, right? You are from Seattle, right?
I am. Kirkland, Washington, to be exact.
Kirkland, Washington.
Home of Costco.
Really?
That's why it's called Kirkland Signature Brand.
Okay, that's fine. There's also a Kirkland store. Is that also from Washington?
I don't think so. I've never seen that before I moved here.
Hail State from Alabama, Keon DeJuan Nettles. Hail State from Saltillo, Matt McBrayer. Did I ring that bell, Chandra Gordon-Smith? Hasn't been time to ring the bell yet. I haven't started the podcast, so aha. We're going to have a shot of Jack on the show today. We're going to talk about baseball. We're going to talk about Moorhead. We're going to talk about recruiting. A lot of stuff to talk about. I was going to have Steve Robertson on the show today, but they had a media availability with baseball, so hopefully I'll have him on the show tomorrow. Canizaro might have some microphone tips for you, Brandon, says Daniel Browning. Roger Glover Jr. says, Brandon, I swear I've met you before. I live very close to where you lived in Meridian. Also, Hail State from Chicago, Roger Glover Jr. It's possible. It's very possible we met when I was in Meridian. I was there in 2007 and 8. Nate, I lived in Everett for 4 years. Depressing as hell, says Bonnie Williamson Gable.
Bonnie, I worked for the Everett Aqua Sox for 3 years. It was quite an experience.
Really?
Yeah.
The Everett Aqua Sox.
They're a minor league affiliate of the Mariners. Before the season, the stadium was in a bad
I thought the Mariners were a minor league affiliate of somebody. What about a shot of Jim? We will have a shot of Jim on today's show, actually. We will have some Jim audio today. We got a lot of audio. We really need to get started. I'm taking way too long. Tony Mariotti, Belle Chase, Louisiana. Hail State from Courtney Leanne Walker. I believe she's in Point City. Wouldn't be opposed to leaving the interim tag on Henderson for another season if necessary to wait on a good hire, but he's not the guy. Bob Watson, you don't have an interim coach for 2 years. That's not an interim coach. I understand your sentiment. Just, see if you can keep riding this train and then hire somebody next year, but I think you're going to hire a big-name coach now, so I don't think you need to worry about it. I didn't know you lived in Meridian, says Jamie Smith. Good to see you survived. Well, I lived in Lauderdale County, actually. I just worked in Meridian. Lived out Causeyville Road. What the hell is an aqua sock? Very good question.
No one knows for sure.
All right, good answer. I got to say, Nate really got me fired up for the show. Usually Turp plays music before the show, and it's rap, and I don't like current rap, so it does nothing for me. Nate played Walkin' in Memphis by Mark Cohn, and I am fired up. I'm ready to go. What a fantastic song.
Fantastic song.
Absolutely great song.
Absolutely.
Stop repeating me.
I'll stop.
You're talking to All right. You ready to go? You ready to play my music?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go. What are you doing? What are you...
It's the More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
Hi, More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. I am Brandon Walker. I'm the host of this show. I will continue to be the host of this show, even when SEC Country ceases to exist on June 30th. We're going to keep doing this show. Right now, it's More Cowbell in the SEC Country studios. I've got Landshark on the other side of the glass. I've got Nate sitting in for Terp today, and frankly, doing a much better job than Terp. Let's just be honest right now. So, Terp, if you're watching, maybe don't come back. I don't know. But I am Brandon Walker. Today on the show, Joe Moorhead has some things to say about recruiting, has some things to say about Nick Fitzgerald that I think you need to hear. It was on the AP Top 25 podcast with Ralph D. Russo. He had, I think, a 20-minute interview with Joe Moorhead. Pretty good. Not as good as if it were on this show, like we had Joe Moorhead a couple of weeks ago. But still, Joe Moorhead said some things I would like for you to hear, so I went and pulled that audio for you. Also, we're going to talk about recruiting. Recruiting looks to be picking up. A big-time Mississippi State target will be deciding very soon. Things look pretty good for the home team. I don't know how good, but we'll see. Baseball continues to be the story of the week as they get ready for Nashville and Vanderbilt. And we'll have a little bit of baseball talk at the end of the show, and we'll end the show as we always do on Wednesday. We'll end the show with a shot of Jack Crystal, the greatest to ever do it, the greatest to ever sit behind a microphone at a college football stadium. So we'll have our tribute to him, 4 clips from Jack Crystal today. Now, before I get started, I will say I'm wearing my favorite piece of Mississippi State gear right now. I'm wearing my Mississippi State baseball coach's pullover. I got it from Maroon & Company. maroonandco.com, at maroonandco on Twitter and Instagram. This is the most comfortable thing I own. It is beautiful. It has the Mississippi State baseball logo. I feel like a champion when I wear this. You should feel like a champion too. You go to Maroon and Company on Highway 12 in Starkville, or go to that website, maroonandco.com. You'll get lost on it. I love it. Father's Day is coming up. If you have a father, or you know a father, or you're about to make somebody a father, please go buy them something at Maroon and Company, because they will love it. Now, real quick business. I'll go through it very quickly. This show will continue very soon after we end up at SEC Country. Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. Please go like that page, Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. Go give that a like. I will move the show to there for our Facebook Live videos, for our reaction videos, for everything we do. We will have that we'll have that on Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. I can't do it on my own. I need some help from State fans. If you would like to see this show keep going, if you would like to see me, keep this show around both in podcast and video form, I have to buy equipment. I have to do all this stuff. I have to really, really invest, and I would like some help. Patreon.com/More Cowbell. Patreon.com/More Cowbell is just a little fund we started to help. If you'd like to donate $1, $5, $10, doesn't matter to me. I would appreciate anything you could possibly give. And email. If you want to email me on the show, morecowbellshow@gmail.com, morecowbellshow@gmail.com. You can go ahead and email me your thoughts, your insults, your predictions for the season. You can email me whatever you would like. You can send me forwards and chain letters. I don't care. Whatever you want to send me more at morecowbellshow@gmail.com. Now, Joe Moorhead. Hi, Nate. What, do you have something to say?
Are chain letters still a thing?
I don't know, Nate.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Nate, let me tell you what your job is on the show. Okay? Don't ever raise your hand to speak. All right?
You didn't have to call on me.
Here's your job on the show. You sit over there, and when I need to bounce off somebody, I'm coming to you. All right? You're going to be my Scottie Pippen. You're not Michael Jordan. You're Scottie Pippen. All right? I'm Michael Jordan. Okay? We good? You can talk now.
All right.
All right. Hail State from Aberdeen, Wayman Hodge. Okay, now let's get to Joe Moorhead. I told you 3 weeks ago I went and saw Joe Moorhead speak at the Road Dogs tour. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. You really get fired up hearing this guy speak and talk about Mississippi State sports. He is starting this year. It's his first year as head coach. He's got 18 starters back. He's got a loaded roster. I think he's got a team to compete for the SEC West. That's how good Mississippi State's roster is. I believe this coach is that good as well. Anytime I go on SEC Country Live or I debate other fans about Mississippi State in 2018, they always say, yeah, how are you going to win with a first-year head coach? Like the man just stepped out of a Publix somewhere and decided to become a head coach. I mean, this guy is a big-time football coach. If you can coach, you can coach. Now, that's what I've been dealing with on SEC Country Live and other fan bases. They don't think State's going to be that good because Mullen's in Florida and Moorhead's here. But they don't see what we see. They don't see what I see. They don't see a coach who is going to pick up right where Dan Mullen left off. They don't see that the offense is probably going to improve under this guy. They don't see everything that I can tell I really feel like is going to happen with Mississippi State football. And I don't really think that I am being a homer. I think I'm being a guy that can look at objectively the situation. This Joe Moorhead hire really looks good. The one question that he had when he took the job back in late November was, can he recruit in the South? It's the question I asked. It's the question that you asked. It's the question that everybody asked. Can he recruit in the South? He is from Pennsylvania. He was coaching at Penn State. He's coached at Fordham, which is, I believe, in the Bronx. He has never coached below Western Pennsylvania. He's never been down here. How could he recruit? Well, go ahead. We got the clips ready, right?
I've got the clip.
All right. So Joe Moorhead went on the AP Top 25 podcast with Ralph D. Russo, and he gave the answer that he's been giving at all the Road Dogs tours. So if you haven't been to the Road Dogs tour or you didn't go when it was happening, here's the answer he gives when talking about Joe Moorhead's ability and his staff's ability to recruit in the South.
Yeah, absolutely. I think first and foremost, in my opinion, the regional aspect of recruiting and coaching couldn't be more overstated or overblown. If you can coach, you can coach. If you can recruit, you can recruit. To me, it comes down to identification and evaluation, building and cultivating relationships and being able to effectively communicate what differentiates your school from the competition. So I don't think being from somewhere guarantees success necessarily, but I don't think it precludes it either. and Nick Saban, Urban Meyer, Jimbo Fisher, all guys from the north. I mean, Coach Saban was born in Toledo and was raised in NASHVILLE, which is about in dang Canada. So and not to mention Coach Mullen and other guys who have come from the north and had success. So I take that all with a grain of salt. But certainly, being a newcomer to the state of Mississippi, that was something that we did in our first 2 months here on the road recruiting, making sure we got into as many schools as possible, and not just the ones that had prospects, but having the coach be there, introduce himself, talk about the philosophy, talk about the vision and the goals for the program, invite them down and, have an open door policy where they can come in and talk ball. I think that was, important to do, right off the bat to kind of, introduce yourself to the people in the state.
The thing that stands out to me the most there is the aggressiveness, the lack of fear, the lack of letting where you're from be a deterrent, the lack of letting the fact that you've never been in the South scare you or keep you from certain schools or just canvassing everything. I got to be honest. I talked to coaches in high school football. I came up through high school football covering it in Mississippi. I talked to coaches at major programs in the state, and they didn't often see Mullen, and they didn't often see Hevesy, and they didn't often see these guys. And when they did see them, it was like it was an icy relationship. It was not a very warm relationship. They say Moorhead will come to these places and just kick it. He'll just sit in the field house and talk football with every coach that wants to talk football. It's a different approach. He talks about going to high schools that don't even have prospects yet. That is an impressive level of dedication to try to get in somewhere and build a pipeline, to build a relationship that will pay off in the end. I'm not sure we've had that. So I myself, when he was hired, I myself said, boy, I like his offensive ability, but can he recruit in the South? That scares me. It doesn't scare me anymore. I think this guy is exactly what State needed. I think he's going to recruit at a much higher level than we are used to, and we are seeing that. We're going to get to recruiting in a little bit. But Nick Fitzgerald, the other big story to me for Mississippi State football, how healthy will he be? Will he be ready? I have heard behind the scenes from people close to Nick Fitzgerald, this guy's ready to go. He's ready to play right now, that you don't have to worry about his health. But Joe Moorhead was asked about that on the AP Top 25 podcast with Ralph D. Russo, and this is what he said.
Yeah, it's been frustrating for him, I think, on a lot of levels. But as of right now, knock on wood, and he's doing the same thing that every other kid on the team is doing for our off-season workouts with the strength and conditioning staff, and we expect them to be full go, once preseason camp starts. So the biggest part of the thing with Nick and spring ball is he did all the individual drills. He did all of our walkthroughs. He did all 7-on-7s. We just kept him out of the team reps where we couldn't risk someone falling on his ankle accidentally. So he got a lot of reps in the pass game, but those critical team reps that KT took the majority of are ones that we're going to have to catch him up on in fall camp.
So there you go, talking about catching him up with the team reps, and as far as the 11-on-11 stuff, maybe the 7-on-7 stuff, and getting him ready. But he took all the individual reps. He was possibly ready to go in the spring, could have gone, but he didn't want to risk anything. I think right now, if Mississippi State had a football game this week, Nick Fitzgerald is a full go. I think he's ready to go. Everything I hear says he is going to be healthy. This terrible ankle injury that happened last year is going to be a thing of the past, and that's big. That is very big, because giving a coach like Moorhead, an offensive mind like Joe Moorhead, a weapon like 6'5", 230-pound Nick Fitzgerald in his first year is an incredible advantage for Mississippi State. And when Fitzgerald's a full go, and when we see him on September 2nd, he's ready and he's 100%, look the hell out, because Joe Moorhead is going to get the most out of this quarterback, and I'm very excited about it. Recruiting continues to pick up. This weekend was big. Mississippi State got 3 commitments, including 4-star Jerry Jones, a safety from Northwest Rankin that flipped from Oklahoma. You had Darius Washington, a 3-star offensive lineman from West Florida Tech down in Pensacola. And you had Jack Harris. Jack Harris from Oak Grove High School in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, a 6'2", 230-pound defensive end linebacker. 3 big commitments, but it might not be over. Summer camp recruiting season is in full swing. This is when a lot of the work is done. It doesn't feel like it, but this is when a lot of the recruiting work is done as far as evaluations, offers, and commitments. And it looks like Mississippi State is really doing a lot of work. Also on campus last week, in addition to those 3 commitments, was 4-star running back John Emery out of Louisiana. John Emery, a big-time running back. Of course, it's hard to pull somebody out of Louisiana if LSU wants him. I think LSU does want this guy. but he seems to be really picking up what Mississippi State is laying down. I think he was on campus this weekend. Everything I hear says John Emery really likes Mississippi State. This could be a running back to watch. You know, Charles Huff, the best recruiter on the staff, is a running backs coach, so you expect him to be able to get a big-time running back. John Emery would be that. From Destrehan, Louisiana, 4-star. He announced yesterday that he is going, on Twitter, he is going to commit on July 7th. I think that's his birthday. July 7th, he's going to commit. At least I hope that's what that means. If it means something else, then I'm just stupid, which remains a possibility, I will admit. But John Emery seems to say that he is going to commit. That seems to be good news for Mississippi State, who's gotten a lot of visits from Emery lately. A lot of momentum right now. If they were to land this guy, a 4-star running back out of Louisiana, that would be a big time get. Jaquay Hubbard, an offensive lineman, I believe a 4-star offensive lineman from Pennsylvania, another one to watch in the next couple of weeks, I believe. I'm not sure he's close to committing or has said he's about to commit, but Jaquay Hubbard is another name that I've heard behind the scenes. It looks pretty good for Mississippi State. So just be monitoring this. You heard what he said. He's going to canvas. He's going to tell recruits. He's going to sell his program. Doesn't matter where he's from. And so far, so good. He's got 6 4-stars. He's got a quarterback, 4-star from Charlotte, North Carolina, a 4-star defensive end from Nashville. He's got a big-time guy from Mobile. He's got a guy from Louisiana. He's got players from all over the place. He is not scared. He doesn't care where he's from. And he and his staff are absolutely running circles around the last staff so far. Long way to go to signing day, but these next couple of names, they're worth watching. Baseball, big week. Mississippi State beats Oklahoma on Monday, going to the Super Regional, the only team from the state of Mississippi to do so. The only team from the state of Mississippi to do so. They are going to the Super Regional, and I don't have a lot to add to this conversation. I know that, we wanted it in Starkville. It's going to be in Nashville. I refuse to get that upset about it because, I think we can win in Nashville. I think we can go to win in Nashville, and I don't want to contribute to this attitude like, oh, it should have been Starkville, I'm going to be mad. Nope. It's in Nashville. Cool. We're going to come up there and win it. That's what I say. That's my opinion of it, and I am wearing the coach's pullover for MOOR and Company, so obviously I know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to bring up baseball today just so I could play this clip, just so I could do this, because Mississippi State Baseball, Hail State BB, on Twitter, at Hail State BB, Hail State Baseball, they came out with a video yesterday kind of linking and showing the connection between the Burke Masters home run in 1990 to beat Florida State and the home run by Elijah McNamee on Saturday to beat Florida State. Did I say Mississippi State? To beat Florida State. The Burke Masters home run in 90 and the Elijah McNamee home run this weekend, they linked it up and they showed the similarities, showed them side by side. Here, can we play that video, Landshark?
The 3-1 pitch is a drive deep to left, way back. It is gone! It is gone! A grand slam for Masters! A grand slam for Masters! And the pitch. And there's a ball in the air, deep in the outfield. Got a chance! Got a chance! Gone! 3-run homer. McNamee leaping around the bases. Mississippi State has shocked Florida State and will stay alive and play some more in 2018. Elijah McNamee with a home run down to his final strike, and he rips it over the scoreboard area in left field, and Mississippi State plays tomorrow in the Tallahassee Regional. Unbelievable.
All right, that is incredible. If that doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know why you're on this show. That just makes me want to ring this cowbell. That makes me want to run down the street ringing this cowbell. Jim Ellis, with the greatest baseball call in the history of Mississippi State. I think the Burke Masters home run on its own is incredible, but the call makes it even better. The call is fantastic. This crowd is berserk. And it's the most iconic moment, I believe, in Mississippi State baseball history. And there it is, right side by side with Elijah McNamee the other day. It was incredible the way that you could take Jim Ellis's call from Saturday and attribute it to 1990, and it would still work. It would still absolutely work. The ball still hit the left field, still out. Mississippi State still. Of course, Elijah McNamee's was a walk-off. Burke Masters was not. But that is a goosebump-inducing call from Jim Ellis, who's been doing it for 40 years. And like I'm going to say about Jack Crystal in a minute on football, Jim Ellis, the best to ever do it as far as SEC baseball announcers. That was just fun to watch. I really enjoyed that. And I only brought baseball up so I could show that. It was A great tweet by Hail State Baseball is a great moment for Mississippi State, both in 1990 and the other day. Now I talked about Jack Crystal. Jack Crystal, the greatest to ever do it in college football, the greatest college football play-by-play announcer there ever was. You can have whoever you want. Give me Jack Crystal, and I'll be happy. Jack Crystal was our play-by-play announcer for over 55 years. He saw some bad football. He saw some good football. He saw some bad basketball. He saw some good basketball. Today we're going to celebrate some of that good football that he saw and maybe a little good basketball. Today's the Alabama edition of A Shot of Jack. Last week we did the Florida edition. This week the Alabama edition. Let's go ahead, Let's go ahead, Nate, with clip number 1.
Oh, unless Mississippi State mishandles this football, Derek Tate is going to go to his knee and kneel down. And unless the officials start that play clock, there are 24 seconds on the game clock, 22 seconds. This ball game is over. This ball game is history. You can put this one in the record book. You can wrap this one, my friend, in maroon and white. Mississippi State 17, Alabama 16, 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bingo! Mississippi State 17, Alabama 16. The 8th ranked team in the country has just gone.
Woo! I mean, God. I mean, if that doesn't get you going, I hope you're not driving right now because you might drive off the road. I mean, come on. 1996, Mississippi State 17, Alabama 16. Jack Crystal counting down 10, 9, 8, and then the bingo. I mean, the bingo made the hair stand up on the back of my neck. Oh my God. I love my job so much. And I know it won't be my job much longer because I'm fired. But I love my job so very much. That's my favorite Mississippi State football game ever. It is. I'd never seen Mississippi State beat Alabama in my lifetime. Never thought it was going to happen. We upset them that night, 17-16. People falling out of the sky, breaking their legs. Jack Crystal with a great call. Man, we got to follow that one up. Let's go with clip number 2.
Alabama would like to get the touchdown. And do they put it in the hands of their offensive lines and their running back, or do they try to throw the ball because they don't have another timeout?
They're going to go to one running back set, 2 tight ends. Up underneath center goes Wilson. Wilson rolls back to throw. He throws it into the end zone. Intercepted. And bringing it out, Mississippi State. Up the sidelines. And racing all the way down the sidelines. And what could be a touchdown for Mississippi State, it will be a touchdown for Mississippi State.
Anthony Johnson in the end zone. Bulldogs were all over Wilson, and he made an errant throw under pressure. And John Carrero.
I don't have a lot of enemies in my life, but if the enemies I do have, I wish they were standing here right now because I need to punch something. Nate, may I punch you?
No, you may not.
Okay. Sorry. I would like to punch something. This equipment all looks expensive. I am fired up right now. Anthony Johnson, 104 yards, whatever it was, streaks down the sideline, 2007. You already see it. You see it in your mind when Jack Crystal says it. One of my favorite plays ever. This is a good group of clips right here. What? Unbelievable. Let's go to clip number 3.
Bulldogs will inbound the basketball on the defensive end of the floor. Gary Irvin will bring it up, and Irvin will work against the man-to-man defense to Timmy Bowers. Bowers from deep outside. Clock down to 8 seconds, 8.5 seconds. Starts to drive. Cut off on the wing. Timmy still goes baseline. Pumps, fakes, shoots, scores! 1 second on the clock. Timmy Bowers has scored. Bulldogs lead 82-81 in overtime. Long pass up the floor. Batted away. The Mississippi State Bulldogs are the Southeastern Conference champions. Wrap it in maroon and white. And what a way to win.
Do you need me to say anything at this point? Do you need me to say anything, or do you just want me to shut up? Because, I mean, Timmy Bowers, 2004, Mississippi State beats Alabama 82-81 in overtime. Timmy Bowers with the shot to beat Alabama and win the SEC championship, and Jack Crystal right there courtside to call it all. It gets no better than that. Wait. Yes, it does.
40 seconds to play. Jacobs says he can't hear. Officials are not calling anything yet. Jacobs up underneath. Long snap count. Jacobs wants to throw. Under pressure. Fires in the middle. Pass caught at the 5. Knocked down at the 4. Alabama's receiver knocked down at the 4-yard line. And that was Prout, the tight end. 1st and 4 and goal to go for Alabama. They've stopped the clock with 25 seconds. Alabama gets on the goal line with 22 seconds. Wishbone offense. No timeouts for Alabama. Jacobs says he cannot hear. Jacobs goes up underneath. Jacobs, long snap count, goes to the fullback. Fumbles the ball. Bulldogs recover. Bulldogs recover. Bulldogs recover. With 6 seconds, the Bulldogs recover.
All right. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm. That's the best shot of Jack we've ever had. That's those clips, those 4 clips, probably my 4 favorite. That might be the most iconic Jack Crystal call ever. Mississippi State's greatest football victory ever, at least in my opinion, until 2014 when we beat Auburn to go to number 1. But that that's the best. Jack Crystal, you were a treasure. You were the very best. Thank you for everything that you did for Mississippi State. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening. I hope you've been listening all the way through because this has been fun. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. I mean, Nate, I don't know, you're a Seattle fan. I don't know if there's any Jack Crystal equivalent in your life, but
His name's Dave Niehaus.
Dave Niehaus. What an unfortunate name for Dave. But
he did the Griffey call.
Oh yeah, 95.
Yeah.
Jack Crystal, fantastic. Fantastic. If I weren't a professional right now, I would really be celebrating. But I am a professional. There's nobody more professional than me, would you say? Would you agree?
Not a single person.
Rapping in maroon and white, says Bob Ivy. Derek Meyer says that made me want to... come on, Derek. I can't read that. I can't read that. Did Jack live in Tupelo? Jeremy Dees, I believe he did. He did. If you remember one time in 2003, his sonic drive of the game was his drive home to Tupelo, which means he came through West Point frequently. Point City. Brian John says, thanks, Brandon. Thank you. James Anderson just gives me a bunch of thumbs up. Brian Shoemaker ready to wrap the supers in maroon and white. Indeed. And I like our chances. And I don't care where it is. I think the way State's playing, if they can go down and eliminate Florida State and Tallahassee, they can go to Nashville and they can beat Vanderbilt. Nate is greater than Terp, says Matt Weisinger.
I concur.
Kendall Rogers is thinking we end up hiring Cliff Godwin, says Thomas Loftus. I don't know about that one. That would be a disappointment at this point, wouldn't it? Cohen has made some good coaching hires. I'm going to let it play out before I judge anything. Clyde Cummins, Jake Gautreau for baseball coach. I'm just not sure Jake Gautreau is at the point of his career where he is going to be the head coach of a program like Mississippi State. I think he is a head coach in training. I think he's going to be there one day. I'm not sure 2018 is the year for him to be the head coach of Mississippi State. He is a very valuable coach and one with a great future, and I think Mississippi State needs to do whatever it can to make sure he's on the next coaching staff, but I don't think he's going to be the head of it. Love the show. Can't wait for the continuation show. I know it will be a success. Thank you, James Anderson. Is State having a watch party anywhere, maybe in Davis Wade Stadium? Bill Anderson, I don't know. I know the Atlanta Alumni Association, we're having a watch party here. I'm not going to be able to go to it, but we're having one. I wish Jack was still with us to see how good Mississippi State is doing now. Matt McBrayer. Yeah, indeed. You should be our next play-by-play man, Brandon. James King, I would not be able to do it without cussing. No chance I could do it without cussing.
There's got to be a market for that, you know?
For cussing? For just unfiltered?
If you could do it on the internet somehow.
I would love to do that.
Have a simulcast.
I'm going to Kroger to buy bananas and sit them beside my TV Friday and Saturday, says Jason Brinson. I'm getting evil looks from people in the office I work in, although they are LSU people. I don't care. Jennifer Tempton. Is Henderson winning it all the worst scenario? Matt Weisinger, no scenario involving Mississippi State winning it all is the worst anything. No, that's not the worst scenario. Love the show, Brandon. You're the man. Brian Shoemaker, thank you. Clyde Cummings says it's time for Jake Gautreau. If you're related to Jake Gautreau, I would say it probably is time, but no, I just don't think that the time is right for Jake Gautreau to be the head coach of Mississippi State University baseball. Looking forward to your new show, and best of luck, David Gilker. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Coach Moorhead spoke of no punting, going for 2. Do you think people will think his coaching is too risky? Wade Glass, yeah, I think they will. I don't think they're gonna like the going for 2, but he's going to do it. That's what he believes in. But ultimately, if you win, and I think his offense is going to be unique and imaginative enough to get you away from the 9 years of non-imagination you just had, that maybe fans will embrace it. Is Matt Luke Ed Orgeron 2.0? No, Matt Luke is never going to be the head coach of another program. No, he's not Ed Orgeron. He's not that good. Clyde Cummins, just listen to the guy. He's impressive. I have no doubt Jake Gautreau is a very impressive coach. He's a very important part of Mississippi State athletics. He is not ready to be the head coach of Mississippi State baseball. That's all I'm saying. Michael Shalaba says, what's up, fam? I don't know who Michael Shalaba is. Does anybody, do you know that name, Nate?
He sounds like someone I wouldn't like.
No, definitely not.
Sounds like someone who's rude.
Probably. I'm hungry. What's for lunch? What are you eating for lunch, Nate?
I was just going to work through lunch and go home and eat something there.
You are the least interesting person I've ever met in my life.
Now, that's just not true.
Who does Ole Miss play this weekend? Asking for Jason Brinson. I'm sure they have a camp somewhere on campus, maybe the ladies' football camp. I wasn't prepared for that many goosebumps, damn it, says Michael Wright. Michael Shalaba says Zaxby's. I don't know why he says Zaxby's, but yeah, good stuff. All right. What do you guys want to talk about? Food? 90s TV? Video games? Your favorite professional wrestling tag teams? Your favorite old sports logos? Your favorite Seattle Mariners from the 90s? Probably Jay Buhner. Well, Griffey's number 1, obviously, but Jay Buhner would be number 2. Somebody says Coletta's barbecue pizza. I don't know what you're talking about, but that sounds delicious. Brandon, meet me at Tin Lizzy for lunch. Thomas Lenore. Okay, TC, let me tell you something. All right, let me tell you something, TC. You got me mixed up right now because we're both from Point City, and Tin Lizzy is in Point City. However, right around the corner from my office here in Atlanta is a restaurant called Tin Lizzy's, and it's completely different. It sells Mexican food. So I don't know if you're sitting over there waiting for me to come over there or you're talking about let's go to West Point and eat because I'm confused. Because if you're in Atlanta, I'll go to the Tin Lizzy right over here.
It's not very good.
My favorite show from the 90s was Coach, says Ginger Tuck. Coach Hayden Fox at Minnesota State, the Screaming Eagles, assisted by defensive coordinator Luther Van Dam. Went to Walmart last night and they were out of bananas, says Grace Thacker Good. I might have missed it. What is the capacity for Vandy Stadium? Jimmy Aycock, I believe it's 3,500. Somebody says 3,600 to 3,800. Joseph Faulkner says that. Thomas Lenore's in Point City. Well, I can't be in Point City. I'm going to come this weekend or next weekend because I got to start getting sponsors for my show. Rather eat at Traceway. I believe that's in Mathiston, Mississippi. Buhner and Edgar Martinez are PNW legends. I don't know what PNW means.
Pacific Northwest.
Really? Wow, thank you. Still watch it every night on TV. Talking about Coach, I believe Ginger Tuck is. Coach was a good show. My favorite was when he had the abscessed tooth and he had to coach from his cabin in northern Minnesota. Do you remember that episode?
Craig T. Nelson is an American treasure.
Craig T. Nelson is very underrated as far as actors that we have. I mean, he's Mr. Incredible, for God's sake. Speaking of Mr. Incredible, I haven't been more excited for a movie in years than I am for The Incredibles 2. Comes out June 15th. You can say something now.
I don't have much to add. I mean, it'll probably be good. Disney movies are usually good.
It's Disney Pixar, actually, not just Disney. Disney Pixar. There is no studio on earth that has a better track record of success, a higher batting average than Disney Pixar. Would you agree with that?
Probably. I mean, Toy Story.
They're
Toy
all
Story kind of changed the game.
They're all good. The Toy Story series is good. The Incredibles are good. The Finding Nemo series is good, even though the second one was pretty trash. They're all good.
They're good at appealing to kids and parents alike.
They are. What's your favorite tag team from the 90s? Pro wrestling, says Christopher Agent. The 90s? Probably the Rockers from the very early 90s, I would say. Whatever happened to the Texas A&M transfer basketball player? I believe she is transferring when she graduates from Texas A&M at the end of summer classes. I believe we'll find out then. Her name was Anriel Howard. We'll find out then. Making it to Omaha would be one of the greatest stories in college baseball history, says David Gilker. Possibly. That is very possible. Hey, if you go to Jimmy John's, they have a new dipping sauce called Kicking Ranch. Michael Wright. I don't go to Jimmy John's, but I do like it when I go there. Whenever I have to, you do not like Jimmy John's at all. You seem to be mad right now. Why are you mad?
They don't have any hot sandwiches.
There are so many sandwich places. There's so many sandwich places. What's the best sandwich place?
I think Publix is just pub subs are a good choice if you're in need.
All right, so we're talking about Subway, we're talking about Quiznos, we're talking about Firehouse Subs, we're talking about Jimmy John's.
I'll pass on all of them,
All of them. Even Firehouse Subs? Firehouse Subs, easily the best sandwich place. Not even close. Hot take. Was The Good Dinosaur any good? I heard it wasn't that great for a Disney Pixar movie. It was the most kiddish. I would say it was the most infant of all the Pixar movies. It wasn't that good, but it wasn't that bad either. Bill Anderson says Firehouse is best. Subway, says Derek Myers. Wade Glass says the Road Warriors. Not really the 90s for me. They were Legion of Doom by 1990. JT Ginn will sign a contract. I figured he would. He was number 30 pick in the draft, right? You can forget about that. Did you tell your wife about the cheesesteak lasagna? Thank you for asking this question, Mac McBrayer.
I need to know about the cheesesteak lasagna.
I'll get to you. I got home last night, and my wife had gone to Kroger Click List, which is the best thing in the world, apparently, according to my wife. So I get there, and my wife takes the bag and picks out the noodles and says, I watched your show today. So she's going to make me the cheesesteak lasagna. Bang, bang.
That's love right there.
That is love. Or at least tolerance.
You got a winner.
I love Firehouse, says Karen Morgan DeWeese. Lenny's sub, says Daniel Browning. That's a total PNW answer, Nate. Firehouse. Gara Williams Aiken. Apparently, we've got some Pacific Northwest people here that want to talk to you about the PNW.
I'll talk all day.
I know you would. Firehouse, Karen Morgan DeWeese. A lot of Firehouse fans here. A lot of Firehouse. Firehouse also a band in the was there a Firehouse? Wasn't there a Firehouse in the early 90s? Yeah, I think there was. Can you check Firehouse music? I want to see if there was a band called Firehouse in the early 90s. They were like a hair band at the end of the hair band era. My favorite sandwiches are at Jason's Deli.
I found a band called Firehouse. There's Love of a Lifetime.
That's it. Love of a Lifetime. That was their big hit.
You want to hear it?
I do not.
All right.
Finally found the love. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Do the Cavs win tonight? Yes, they win tonight. They lose. They probably lose the series in 5 games. Snohomish PNW in the house. Mississippi greater than Washington, says Bill Anderson. Where's Snohomish, Washington, Nate?
That's where Jacob Eason's from. Snohomish is just north of Seattle.
Sounds expensive.
It's not that expensive. There's some parts of it are, some parts of it aren't. There's a naval base there.
Are the Vegas Knights dead? Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like the Vegas Knights are dead. I lived in Tillamook, Oregon for 4 years. Gorgeous scenery, terrible weather, says D. Curtis. Is that how I say it, Tillamook?
Yep.
Oh, very good. Is that how I say it, Oregon?
Oregon. Some people say Oregon, and it's definitely just Oregon.
Is that how I say it, D Curtis? D-E-E? Okay. I saw Firehouse in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Don't treat me bad, says Bill Anderson. PNW is a terrific area of the country. Crater Lake, Pacific Coast, Columbia River Gorge. A lot of PNW fans here.
It's a beautiful place.
That's great. That's great. But this show's about me. It's not about you. About me, not you. Landshark, I haven't seen your home run signal yet. You ready? You ready to get out of here? Hey, by the way, let's run through them real quick. First, let me say that SEC Country Live still exists. It's the show at 2 o'clock Central Time. SEC Country Live is our overarching SEC show. It's our biggest show we have. And two guest hosts this week. Landshark, guest hosting SEC Country Live, along with me, Brandon Walker, guest hosting SEC Country Live. Come back at 2 o'clock at SEC Country's main Facebook page. Check us out. For me, help me out by liking Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. Please like that page and help me out in the future. Patreon.com if you'd like to donate to the cause to help me get this business on its feet. Please go to Patreon.com/More Cowbell. If you want to email me, if you want to talk to me, you can email me at morecowbellshow@gmail.com. And Nate, you have your hand up.
Are you offering any gifts or rewards for people who commit?
Thank you very much. For everybody that donates $10 or more, I do have gifts. I have a signed Joe Moorhead poster I'm going to give away at some point. I have a signed Bobby Thigpen bat I'm going to give away at some point. I do have gifts. Thank you for bringing that up. Now, my name is Brandon Walker. We're going to get out of here because people are freaking out over there. We're going to go ahead and go. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully, with Steve Robertson. I've said that 2 days in a row, but hopefully we'll have him tomorrow to talk recruiting. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.